Good morning. I am the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins, and it's so great to be here in the United Kingdom with all of you, working with government and business leaders to expand trade opportunities for our two nations. As you all know, last Thursday on May 8th was Victory Day, the 80th anniversary. President Trump and Prime Minister Starmer announced a historic trade deal which provides an unprecedented opportunity for our two nations to work together to boost economic prosperity and national security. This deal creates billions of dollars in opportunity for new export markets for U.S. agricultural stakeholders, is a great first step toward making our ag trade relationship more reciprocal, and sets the stage for us to work together to reduce tariffs and unnecessary trade barriers, and will work to increase choice for consumers across the entire United Kingdom. After landing yesterday, we hit the ground running. I have had great meetings at the U.S. Embassy with our new ambassador to the Court of St. James, Warren Stevens, U.S. agricultural industry leaders, and with the Secretary of the Department of Environment, Food, and Rural Affairs, Steve Reed, and the Department for Business and Trade, Jonathan Reynolds, yesterday at Parliament. Today, I met with, just finished meeting with UK ag importers from the retail food sector to emphasize that the U.S. is open for business, and we have wholesome, quality, and safe products that we want to ensure are accessible to consumers around the world and across the UK. This afternoon, I will continue these discussions with the Prime Minister's Special Advisor on Business and Investment, Chandra, at number 10, and will be headed to meet with the Department of Energy Security and Net Zero Under Secretary Michael Shanks to discuss continued market access for American wood pellet exports. I look forward to continuing these discussions with UK industry and government leaders, and again, am so grateful to be here with all of you. And with that, I'll take questions.
Secretary Rollins,
yes, ma'am.
Just a question here. British farmers are concerned about the agreement is really one way for the US to push a relaxation of rules on agricultural produce, especially on hormone-grown beef. How will you guarantee your trade partners in the UK, your farmers, that you're not going to be doing that?
Well, I think the first and possibly the biggest takeaway from last week, from my perspective, was that this was not a one-way street. I mean, clearly I am here and am the biggest fan and cheerleader of American agriculture, but at the end of the day, this is about opening up markets. This is about taking down barriers and walls that have been built. This is about expanding choice between our two countries. And it's interesting, I just in the last meeting talked about, aligning with our partners, and there is no greater partner than the UK. I mean, from the very beginning, I guess once we got past the revolution, but since then, the partnership between our two nations has been really what has driven freedom and opportunity and prosperity in the entire world. So it makes so much sense that last Thursday this was the first trade deal announced. And again, while President Trump and your Prime Minister are working to elevate and to ensure that your own people and our own people are protected and reaching new levels of prosperity, at the end of the day, when it is those partnerships with our allies like the UK that are just so very important. So while in fact we are excited about getting American beef, ethanol, etc., hopefully down the line, rice, seafood, other products are coming into your country, this is also about getting more of your country's products into ours as well. And when we have that increased food security, that's increased national security for both of our nations.
Please state your name and outlet, please.
Yes.
Suzanne Savage, the Financial Times. Just on the hormone-free beef point, I've been hearing that some producers are already shifting to hormone-free beef in the US in anticipation of market access into the UK. Is that something you've heard as well? And is that a signal that the deal is starting to reshape US agricultural standards from the ground up?
Yes, well, thank you for that. The first thing I think that's very important to say is that we have decades of research that show that the beef produced in America, whether it is hormone or hormone-free, is entirely safe, and we believe one of the crown jewels of our American agriculture industry. I am from Texas. This is my background, so I know this industry and area very, very well, and I could not be more proud of our beef cattle industry in America. Having said that, our agriculture producers, our cattle producers, etc., obviously are constantly watching what the markets look like, and if the markets are calling for a specific type, or they have more opportunity somewhere, then I think that we potentially do see some movement in the market. It's very early to say exactly, but I'm just so proud of our producers. I think that our farmers and our ranchers in America, again, are the backbone of our country. I think that this administration, you see a renewed focus on our ag producers and on our farmers and our ranchers versus the former U.S. administration under Joe Biden. And that's why I'm here in the UK today, headed to Italy next, then headed to Vietnam, South Korea, India, then South America, as we begin to continue to build out these markets around the world. But again, the fact that UK was the first trade deal of what will be dozens, perhaps more than dozens, I think is a really, really good sign and really important. And I'm so excited to work with your leadership here in this country to continue. Yes, ma'am.
Anna Hill, BBC Farming Today. Pork and poultry aren't actually mentioned specifically at the moment in the deal. You're here to discuss, and I quote, additional access to US products. Does that mean pork and poultry then? What does that mean?
Yes, so thank you so much. It means everything, but certainly pork and poultry are at the front, I believe, of the line, along with rice and seafood and some other things. But pork and poultry are a very important piece of this, and I believe that, and what has been shown is that the industries in America, which are feeding the world, the opportunity to provide more choice for your consumers here in the UK is just an incredible opportunity to work alongside your leadership to see what that could look like. It's very early to say exactly, but I'm just so proud of our producers. I think that our farmers and our ranchers in America, again, are the backbone of our country. I think that this administration, you see a renewed focus on our ag producers and on our farmers and our ranchers versus the former U.S. administration under Joe Biden. And that's why I'm here in the UK today, headed to Italy next, then headed to Vietnam, South Korea, India, then South America, as we begin to continue to build out these markets around the world. But again, the fact that UK was the first trade deal of what will be dozens, perhaps more than dozens, I think is a really, really good sign and really important. And I'm so excited to work with your leadership here in this country to continue. Yes, ma'am.
Anna Hill, BBC Farming Today. Pork and poultry aren't actually mentioned specifically at the moment in the deal. You're here to discuss, and I quote, additional access to US products. Does that mean pork and poultry then? What does that mean?
Yes, so thank you so much. It means everything, but certainly pork and poultry are at the front, I believe, of the line, along with rice and seafood and some other things. But pork and poultry are a very important piece of this, and I believe that, and what has been shown is that the industries in America, which are feeding the world, the opportunity to provide more choice for your consumers here in the UK is just an incredible opportunity to work alongside your leadership to see what that could look like. Of course, I'm the Secretary of Agriculture. I am very part of the conversations, but I'm not the one leading the negotiations. Of course, Secretary Besant, our Treasury Secretary Lutnick, our Commerce Secretary, and Jameson Greer, our U.S. Trade Representative, are the ones who are out actually negotiating these deals. But it is my understanding that pork, poultry, seafood, rice, specialty crops will continue to be on the table. And one thing I'll mention on top of that I think is very important, and I've taken from a lot of the discussions yesterday and today, is that the more our two countries and those who are aligned with our values are regulatorily aligned, meaning that we don't have all these different systems and structures, I think that that is going to go a tremendously long way to supporting the ag industry in both the U.S. and the U.K. So I believe those are going to continue to be part of the conversations as well, and that's a really important piece of this.
Final two questions. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Helena Horton, I'm from The Guardian.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So Steve Reed, our Environment Secretary, has absolutely ruled out saying we're never going to have chlorine chicken in the UK or hormone beef. But I believe you said that you want to talk about all meats. So do you think any tariff reduction will be contingent on us accepting chlorine chicken and hormone beef?
Well, let's first talk about chlorine chicken. I think that is a narrative in your country that perhaps we have not done a good enough job pushing back on. Only about 5% 20% of our chicken in America is actually treated that way with the chlorine. So we have moved over the last decade completely away from the quote chlorine chicken. So I think that's a really important myth to dispel, and I'm grateful to do that. I think the conversations are continuing, and I think that building the relationships, just for me yesterday being with Mr. Reed and Mr. Reynolds, today being with several of your other leaders, and building those relationships and having those conversations and ensuring that both of our countries we're putting our countries first, but in doing so in partnership. I know that there are probably different views on this, but the more we can talk, the more that frankly I also can talk to y'all, the people that you're reporting to, ensuring that the right news and message is moved out based on data and scientific study is really, really important. And just looking forward to a really strong partnership moving forward.
All right, final question.
Yes, ma'am.
Isha Nelson from the New York Times. Would you be content with the deal as it stands? You know, these negotiations are still ongoing, but if the agricultural portion of it ended at this and then these tariff reductions and agreements went into place, would that be enough for you, or would you want to see more before any of these tariff reductions go into place? And secondly, do you think that the US agriculture industry can currently meet that export opportunity that's in place at the moment?
Yeah, thank you. I believe so strongly that last Thursday and the announcement marked just the first of hopefully many steps moving forward. Again, the importance from my perspective of this country and our partnership with the United States, and as President Trump is moving out across the globe, and we as his cabinet are as well, to ensure that America, that our ag products, well frankly that all of our products are treated fairly on the world stage, that as we're realigning an economy that is based on that fairness and reciprocal trade, that this is going to continue to be a significant priority of this administration over the next 4 years. But starting with the UK and starting with the deal that was announced last Thursday is, from my perspective, but I think I speak on behalf of my boss, President Trump, is just the first step of what hopefully will be many. And the more that we can align and partner with our allies, again, I can't say it enough, food security is national security. The UK, for example, really relies on China and Russia for your seafood. America has extraordinary, best-in-class seafood. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how we can also then take some of what you all do best and move it into America as we continue to build that partnership. So I think we made significant progress with the announcement last Thursday. I have been extremely impressed with the team that you all have representing the UK, first on the ground in the United States that I met last week and before, but also with the teams I've been meeting with over the last day or two and will continue to meet with, that I think that it is just the beginning of a new day of partnership, perhaps unprecedented in our two countries' histories. Thank you all so much. It's really, really good to be here. Thank you all. Nice to meet you. Thank you.